Well, thanks to Gemma for that. Let's get more now on the news that Douglas Carswell has stepped down from UKIP to sit as an independent MP. UKIP's Deputy Leader, I'm pleased to say, Peter Whittle, joins us now live from Westminster. Mr. Whittle, thanks for your time. Not a great morning. Are you surprised at what's happened? And also, with the timing, it seems he didn't tell anyone before he was going to do this.
That's right. I think the point is really, Tom, that Douglas was due to come before our National Executive Committee on Monday to answer all sorts of questions which have been building up for quite a long time. So it sort of looks rather as though maybe he jumped before he was pushed. I don't think it's necessarily a bad morning for us. I mean, let's face it, over the past year, 2 years, this has caused nothing really but sort of heartache in a way for us. And so really, actually, it's possibly coming as something of a relief. Paul Nuttall tried very hard to get unity within the party, and indeed has got unity, but in the case of some people that would prove to be just simply a step too far. And so therefore we are just now going to concentrate on rebranding and regrowing our party over the next year or so.
You used a phrase there that Nigel Farage used in his statement earlier, that he was jumped before he was pushed. And one of the other things Mr Farage said, this sort of spectre around UKIP, he said, I felt the day after Douglas was elected, he was saying things that weren't really UKIP. Now, just a reminder that Mr Carswell said that day, he said, on the subject of immigration, let me make it absolutely clear, I'm not against immigration. We should welcome those that want to come here to contribute. Why does Nigel Farage have a problem with what he said there? And do you have a problem with what Mr Carswell said after he was elected?
Well, no, we are not against immigration in principle at all. I think that the timing of what Douglas said at that point was slightly strange, and there was a sort of sense in which basically maybe he felt uncomfortable with what UKIP stands for, which is something which is supported by millions of people. And so therefore there was always a sense really in which he was not completely comfortable in the party. And I think that was becoming more and more apparent. So really, in a way, this sort of clears the air and clears the decks, and Douglas can go on his merry way.
Well, it certainly clears the decks. You've now got no MPs, zero influence really on Brexit and the House of Commons and proceedings like that. Are you in danger of falling out of public consciousness?
I don't think so. I mean, first of all, OK, Douglas was an MP for us, but the fact of the matter is it was almost like we didn't have one, actually. I don't think anybody voted for UKIP because Douglas was in Parliament, number one. Number two, I would say that during the period that UKIP's been active under Nigel, of course, and now Paul Nuttall, we have made the political agenda completely. In fact, I think even Douglas said in his statement today that we've been the most successful political party of modern times. That's absolutely true. There was a referendum last year. The whole agenda now of politics actually is driven by, whether it's on grammar schools or foreign aid or these sorts of things, driven by us. So the idea that somehow or other we're slipping from public consciousness is completely wrong, and I don't think I'd be here talking to you now if we were.
And just finally, Mr Whittle, Aaron Banks said last month when you failed to gain that seat in the Stoke Central by-election that it was run like a jumble sale, the party, and that you had to get rid of people like Douglas Carswell. He wanted to be the chairman of the party. Would you like to say to Aaron Banks the door is open for him to come in and maybe start funding the party again?
The door is always open. I mean, Aaron has always made contributions to UKIP. I don't just mean financial ones. I mean, basically, he's always contributed to us, he's always supported us in his particular way.
Would you like him and Mr Farage back?
Mr Farage is in the party.
As an MP, as a possible standing MP?
Look, our whole point is obviously we want to get MPs into Parliament, but one thing has become absolutely clear is that you can set the agenda, obviously, extremely effectively, as we have done, without having members of Parliament. But, of course, we do have to have those in the fullness of time. That obviously is difficult for a party like ours, which is small and which therefore has to overcome an incredibly unfair electoral system, which, of course, is one of the things which we will be campaigning very, very hard on. So, without saying that, of course, it's terribly important to have representation at Westminster. We need that. But the idea that somehow you have no influence unless you have that has been proved spectacularly wrong over the past 2 or 3 years, indeed, while we did have someone there.
OK, Peter Whittle, UKIP's Deputy Leader, appreciate you speaking to me this afternoon. Thank you.